Greetings, yarnivores. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. Today, I am going to show you how to make this ear flap hat, complete with cute little tassels. And this was a pattern that I'd been fiddling around with for a while, and I thought, hey, why not? And, keep your ears nice and toasty-woasty. And so now what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to go to another tutorial that I've posted, and I will post it in the comments down below. And it is for the basic crocheted hat tutorial. And the base of the hat in that tutorial goes to a total of 14 rounds from the crown here down to the edge here. Now for this one, it is only 13 rounds total. So when you're done with your increases and you're zipping along with just one double crochet into each stitch, you are going to want to stop at round 13, which is right here, because we're not going to be doing an excessive brim like we did in that one. It's just a nice clean single crochet edge here. So what you're going to want to do is go back to that video, do a total of 13 rounds, and meet back up with me when you are done with that. Okay. Okie dokie pokey. So I went along and I made a base of a hat, 13 rounds in total, and this right here is the back side of the hat, and I just love how you can hardly see where the seam is. And so what we're going to want to do is, for the rest of this tutorial, I am still using an H crochet hook, and for this I was using, I believe it was Medium Time is the colorway of this in Red Heart Super Saver, and for my edging I'm going to be using gray. So of course we are also going to need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle, and so let's get to it. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is find where your seam is. For me, it's right here. And we're going to count 9 stitches from that seam. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, now this does not have to be exact. In fact, you could do this anywhere, but I like to have this seam, even though it's hardly visible, I like to have it in the back. That's just me. All right, so what we're going to do is, with our yarn, we're going to come in and we're going to pull that through. Okay, you don't need a huge tail, but a little bit of a tail is good. All right, and then we're going to chain up 3. Okay, and then we're going to do 11 double crochets. That first chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and so we're going to have a total, oh, got caught in there, sorry. Oh, dear me. Yarn splits a little bit, pardon me. Okay, so we're going to do a total of 12 double crochets along this length here for the ear flap. And I will meet back up with you when I am ready. Okie dokie. All right, so I have my 12 double crochets, and then when we reach the end there, we're going to chain up 2. 1, 2. And we're going to start immediately by decreasing. So we have our chain 2 there, and then we're going to go into not this one here, but the next one here. And we're going to not finish that double crochet. We're actually going to just pull straight through. okay? And then we're going to do double crochets all the way across until we reach the last two. And that's where we're going to do another decrease. And that we are going to do on every succeeding row because we want this to reach a nice point. Okay, almost there. Do. Okay, we've got 3 left. All right, so we do this one. Okay, now we are going to decrease these last 2 stitches here. So we're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, keep the 2 on the hook, and then we're going to yarn over. And yes, this one is going to be a little bit fiddly, but we can do this. Of course we can. All right, so it's going into the top of this 3rd chain here. And yeah, I know it's a little bit fiddly, but that is okay. That is to be expected. It's quite all right. Okay. So we go into there, as you can see, and then we pull through, if I can. There we are. Pull through 2, and then pull through all 3 for that decrease. All right. And then we chain up 2. We turn our work, and we go into this next, not in here, but right in here, with our next double crochet. It's another decrease right there. And we're going to be continuing on in this fashion, like I said, for all of the rest of these rows. And eventually we will come to a point because we're going to be decreasing 2 double crochets on each side with each row. So it will get smaller and smaller as we keep going. So I'm going to show you how to do this one. And then for the rest, I'm going to let you get to it. All right, see here, we have these right here. Okay, so it's going in, and then we go into this one here. Pardon me. That's another decrease. So we have this nice clean edge going on here. Okay? So just continue on for the next bunch of rows, and I will meet you when I am close to the end of the point. All right then. Alrighty, so I'm almost there. So as you can see, I have 2 groups up at the top there. And so to get that real nice fine point there, well, as fine as we can, you know. So I'm going to finish this off with a chain 2, flip my work, and do our last one right there. Shaboom. Okay, so then what you want to do is, cut your yarn, pull it through, and you have a nice point there. Okay? All right, so now we are going to want to start in with the next ear flap. Now, what we did was, since we're, continuing to go in this, you know, circular fashion, now see, we have 9 from the join here to when we started. Now we have to kind of go backwards, right? So counting 9 this way, in this direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now see, that's where this is going to end, because we keep going in this counterclockwise fashion, right? So we need to see where we start. So that's 12 over, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we start right here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to do our second ear flap just like we did the first, by pulling up our yarn, chaining up 3, and do exactly what we did with this ear flap back here. And when you're done with that, I will show you how to do the edging and the finishing touches. Okay then. All right, so I have both of my ear flaps done, and what you're going to want to do at this point is you're going to want to sew in your ends, because that is going to save you some grief in the long run. All right, so sew those into your stitches on the inside of your piece, and meet back up with me when you are ready. All right, still with me? Okay, now what we're going to do now is, since we have all of our ends sewn in, we are going to take our contrasting color yarn, and we're going to do a single crochet edge along the entire piece. Now you can of course leave this process out, but I think that it really gives the piece some more pop, some more dimension. And of course you can experiment with different color combinations. Another thing that you can do is, while you're doing the base of your hat, create some stripes, coordinate, really it's total a matter of personal preference and totally up to you. So what I like to do is I like to start in the corners here, because it's a little less obtrusive than if you're starting in, on a flat edge. All right, so we stick our hook through and we pull up a loop. And we do a chain 1. Okay. And then we're going to go along this edge. Now, because this is sort of a wonky edge to be stitching into, you kind of have to fudge it a little bit. See, in here, this is a double crochet bar, if you will. So what I generally do is 2 single crochets within each bar. Now, the next one isn't quite a bar here. Now you may need to experiment a little bit, to fudge a little bit. Basically, the ultimate thing that you are going for is a nice, consistent tension, because if you have too many stitches along this edge, then it is going to be, it's going to be buckled, warped, So, I mean, you are going to have to fiddle a little bit, You may have to rip out your stitches and start again. See, now I've done this thus far, and it's maintaining its shape. It's not crazy, So, I mean, it does require a little bit of trial and error. See, if I went into here, this might create too many stitches, but I think it's still fine, And so we just continue along to the very tip. See, and now we are in the tip. And let's just see where we're at before we continue on. Is this straight enough? Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm not complaining. All right, so now in the tip, I would suggest doing a bunch of stitches. I would say, do about 3 or so. Fill it up like that. Now, there is going to be a hole in here. That is perfectly fine, because actually we are going to need that hole in order to thread a whole bunch of lengths of yarn through so that we can create our tassels. So actually, this is a good thing right here. Yes, that is good. All right, so, and I'm going to continue along in the same fashion, doing single crochets along the edge, if I can grab all of the plies of my yarn, that is. Just going along the edge. So on and so forth. Okay? And then, okay, running into a bit of a tight spot here. That's okay. So what you're going to want to do is when you go down this edge, you're going to want to do a single crochet stitch in each of these stitches, and you're going to go all the way around, and when you reach the other ear flap, you're going to continue on up and a couple stitches in the top, continue on down, and then going to do a slip stitch into this stitch here. And I mean, that's really the basis of this edging here. It's really quite simplistic. And then when we're done with this edging, when we're sewing in our ends, I'll then show you how to do the tassels. So I'm going to continue along in this fashion, and I will meet back up with you when I've got some good headway. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so as you can see, I've been going all the way around, and I'm almost up to my starting point. And so it's just a couple more single crochets in each stitch. Almost there. Okay, and then last but not least, just do a slip stitch. Pardon me. Just do a slip stitch into here. Make it nice and neat. Voila. And then, quite simply, we cut our yarn, pull that loop through, and then it's just a matter of sewing in those ends. Nice and pretty. Okay, so now what we are going to want to do, I'll sew in those ends later. So what we're going to want to do is into that space that I spoke of with the tip there, what we're going to need to do is we're going to cut lengths of yarn, 3 of each color, 3 of the main, 3 of the contrasting, and it's going to be, a total of 6 lengths because we have 2 tassels to make, right? So I didn't quite, measure these. I sort of eyeballed it. I would say they're like, 3, 4 feet long, about 3 feet long. Pardon me. And so what we're going to do is basically we're just going to pull these lengths through that main loop there. Okay. And you may need to go in for a second pass because you might not grab all of them on the first try, which is okay. Did I do it? No, no, did I? No, wait. No, I didn't do it. I'm missing a gray one. That is okay. I think it's this one here. Yep, there's the offender. That is okay. All right, so then what you're going to want to do is make sure that the length of these is even. Well, as even as you can get it. Line them all up on the one side. Get your tension right. Okay, and then grab the other side. And then line them up. Okay, now, so we have all of these lengths here. So what I like to do, so that the braid has a nice mixed, mottled, blended look. Okay, so we have them coming out of the top and out of the bottom, right? Okay, so what I do is I set them up into pairs. So we've got a gray from the bottom, sorry, a green from the bottom and a gray from the top. Okay. A gray from the bottom and a green from the top. Okay. And a gray from the bottom, a green from the top. Okay. So we have 3 sets, as you can see. So we have a gray and a green on the top, a gray and a green on the bottom, a gray and a green on the top, a gray and a green on the bottom, etc. All right, so now what we're going to do is quite simply braid these lengths etc., etc. Yeah, we are going to quite simply braid these lengths. And now these that I did on here, this was a good length. For this is an adult-sized hat. Now let me see. Do I have a measuring tape handy? Yes, I do. Pardon me. Okay, so these in their length are roughly 11 inches long. Okay, so when you have finished braiding, you then gather up all of your strings together and you knot it at the end and you leave this tassel fringe. Now, of course, what you can do is you can go even further and you can take the plies of each strand of yarn and you can untwist it and really frizz it out for some more volume. Personally, I think it gets a little too crazy with that, so I just like to leave it as this. Okay, so I'm going to continue on, and I will meet back up with you when I'm finished. All right then. Da 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 da. All right, so after much work, yes, we are finally finished, and the very last touch, of course, is trimming our ends. And I always find that it's best to do this at the same time so that they are nice and even. So you just line up your knots. And, this, of course, as most things in life, it's not an exact science. But, you want them to be nice and lined up because once you cut, you cannot uncut. All right, and of course you can trim these to your liking. All right. Ta-da! Little fringy tassels. All right. So as always, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did because I love doing this for you guys. brings me so much joy. Oh, love it. So, I hope that you make one of your own. And of course, as always, knowledge is power, but sharing is caring. I care about you guys, and I hope that you make one of these and share it with somebody that you love. And actually, this one, as well as Mach 1, these are going to be donated to a collection at my local library where they are collecting hats and scarves and blankets for the needy, which I think is a great cause. So these are going to hopefully keep somebody nice and toasty woasty this cold season. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this. I do try to keep posting as often as I can. Please like the video. It means so very much to me, and I do quite appreciate it. If you have any comments, questions, etc., please don't hesitate to ask. Always love hearing from you guys. You guys are great. Means the world to me. Can't go on enough. Well, anyway, listen, you have a fabulous day. Stay inspired, keep stitching, and keep caffeinated. And I will catch you guys soon. You have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye now.